Peace.
Peace.
Peace. It's God, life, law right here. And peace to everybody out there. You know what I mean? Human family, planet Earth. Here with the God, Kenyatta Allah. Take me through this whole 30-year interview. 30-year process, if you will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so basically, I guess you just kind of build on initially what brought you around, what was attractive about this culture that, stood out to you and made you want to, I guess, get involved in it.
Well, first of all, let's start with today's mathematics. We're going to start there. Right. Today's mathematics is wisdom, God, all being born. And the wisdom of God has to be born in the mind of those who are striving to improve and better themselves. What attracted me to this really is that, as most young people, I was fatherless. I didn't have a father, although I had a biological father that brought me into the world, so to speak. You know what I mean? There were those young men back home in NYC in the desert that took it upon themselves to bring me up. And I had friends and associates that was, talking about this, that, and the third, and how the black man is God, which I really never really understood. Just like most, I thought that God was a white man. He was in the sky when I die, and that's how I was going to see him.
Right.
At 15 years old, I was brought under the tutelage of a God named Supreme Mind, the Law of Peace to the God, and he basically showed me, the principles of responsibility. Kind of took me under his wing and told me that, the black man is God. And he took me around to various gods and took me to the law school that we had in 150th Road in Jamaica, Queens, and started to share certain things with me. And then he gave me the book of life, which we call the 120, and told me to study it. And as I began to study it, I didn't have a whole lot of gods telling me how to study. I just started to study it. But I was, like I said, I was 18. As I moved on, I got it July 7th, 1981. I was 15 years old at the time. And, as a young person, you don't really understand what it is. You just know a whole lot of people's doing it, so you figure you do it too. Not that I was caught up in a lot of peer pressure. I was always a loner. I had friends, I had associates, but I never really, had a whole lot of people I associated with. I kind of kept to myself by just kind of doing the knowledge to who, what, when, where, and why. So what attracted me to the culture as I got older, when I said I was 18, I moved and went to the military. So I had 3 years from 15 to 18 to figure out some things. I was still striving to find myself. Like I said, I was fatherless. I didn't have a real role model or mentor to kind of prepare me for what I was going to face. But I had read the story that the father went into the military. And as I began to learn the various realities of this culture, not everybody in this culture is who they say they are. You know what I mean? That's the reality you have to understand. A lot of us came from unfortunate beginnings. This nation was started and founded by Allah the Father, but at the same time it was brought to the child or children of the ghettos, the drug dealers, the pushers, the gang members. A lot of people don't understand this. And some of that mentality still lays dormant in the minds of those that have paved the way for us today. So what attracted me to this culture was the fact it gave me a sense of identity, a sense of, responsibility and respect for myself as a black man. And then when I went in the military, I understood a little bit more by the cultural diversities and the way that a man must, follow his own journey. As the father mentioned in his tape, no one taught him this. He had to teach himself it. So when I heard that, that let me know that no man could teach me, really. I had to teach myself and stand on my own square, stand on my own 2 feet and be a man. Before I was the God, I was a man. But I had to understand the reality of manhood so I could understand the reality of godhood. And that's what attracted me to the culture. The fact that it gave me a sense of self, a sense of identity, a sense of purpose and principle, but at the same time, it allowed me to properly plan. This knowledge saved my life in so many ways. And although we all go through the peaks and valleys of life, that's what really helped me, and a lot has happened over the last 30 years, to say the least.
Peace. All right. So, what brought you out to Loveland or Los Angeles?
Well, my life and my journey has taken me on various quests throughout the nation, throughout the country, and throughout the world. I was here many years ago working in the music business. Came out here in the early '91 after a breakup of my first togetherness with my oldest god, my leader, his mother, and decided that I needed to get out of New York because the things that was going on back home was real serious. I was put in jail, for something that I didn't do. But I got there anyway, and I realized that if I stay in New York, man, I'm gonna do something real harmful. And I said, let me come on out. So I took Ghetto Airways out to L.A. and got involved in the music business, and met with the guards, Born to Law, and Just Life. The guards started going through Bilal and Mel Quan, and the guards started building at that time. At the same time, I came back again because I was in the military, and this was the place that I ended up. So I decided to, when I got the military in 2004, it was either go back home to New York or stay here in L.A., and I decided to stay here in L.A., for a little while anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's peace. So what year was that?
What year was what?
When you came to Loveland?
Like I said, early '91, and then I came again in 2004.
Okay. So what was, I guess, the atmosphere at that time when you first came?
When I came, Born to Law and the guards, they were already building. They were already doing things in Leimert Park. They was already handling certain things, and I kind of came in on the tail end. Again, it's like most guards, we all are, a person say they God doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to click. We're going to, all come together. We click because me and Born, we come from the same, atmosphere. We come from the root. So me and Born kick Bilal, Allah, we click because we come from that root. So, for us, or for me, I felt that the guards was going to do what they were going to do regardless. So the climate was a more collective climate that I saw. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of guards, very few earths, but we'll go into that later. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was a very tight knitted group that I saw. And again, I came by myself, going to the lesson. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I recognized that these young brothers out here had a certain way that they was being brought up, and and then that way stayed, and that's what the climate was, that I saw. But again, I moved on. I have a tendency plant seeds, do what I got to do, and then I move. The sun don't stand still; it keeps moving. A lot of people don't understand that. You know what I mean? I keep moving and keep sharing the light that I can, and I found my way in Tacoma, found my way in Chicago, found my way, Atlanta, found my way, I was always moving. I stayed there for a while, planted that seed, and then kept it moving, And then, again, came back here, did the knowledge of what was going on, and strived to add on the best way I could at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace. All right.